Well, everybody, it's your boy D Mac, man. I had to jump on here real quick and have a little late night session because Antonio Brown has finally spoke out about what took place on that sideline. And like I said in my description, he was very specific about the verbal altercation that took place between him and his coach. And he didn't seem to have any issues remembering what took place. And he didn't beat around the bush about what was said. And Mr. Arians, he seemed to be very evasive. And this is something that I pointed out in a conversation that I had with somebody, that when he was specifically asked, did Antonio let him know that he was injured and he wasn't, that's the reason he didn't want to go back in the game. Bruce Arians specifically said, yes, we had a conversation and he left the field. And he was very evasive. That's not telling us anything. And that right there let me know, why is he trying to dance around what specifically was said between him and Antonio? He know what was said. And so that right there raised a red flag for me. And so I began to go down this rabbit hole. Well, now, if Bruce Arians don't want to say what is said, that means that he does not want to say anything that's going to make him liable. Because if he, in fact, did try to get Antonio to go in the game knowing that he was hurt because he was not practicing Thursday and Friday. And they were very aware that he had been dealing with an ankle issue. And then he came out and even said that, before the game started, they gave him I guess, a cortisone shot or whatever type of painkiller shot that they'll give you and tape you up good so that you can go out there. And so it makes sense now when people say, well, he looked good when he was out there on the field and he was looking fine then and healthy then because he was shot up with painkillers in his ankle. And so when you go out there and you run and you plant and do all of these different routes and stuff like that, then that stuff starts to wear off and you start to feel it. And so he's sitting over there and he's starting to feel it because the painkillers are wearing off. And he telling him, no, I can't go back in the game, man. My ankle is jacked up. So now if you're going to try to pressure me even after I've told you the extent of my injuries, then that means that you're so caught up in this game because you look at the setting, the, the tempers are flaring. Everybody's like in a state of urgency because we're down 14 to this team that should not be beating us. And so now we have this weapon over here who we can't utilize. We need you to get in the game now. It's during the time that we're getting ready to go to playoffs, and we need you to sacrifice your body for the team right now. And that man said, no, I'm not going to do that. And then he said, okay, well, if you're not going to do that, then you're done. Okay, fine. I'm out. Peace. Here you go. Tossing of the shoulder pads and the jersey, tossing of the shirt into the crowd, and dip off because you was told to go. Now that scenario makes a whole lot more sense than that bandwagon scenario that everybody jumped on in the very beginning without hearing the context of what was exchanged between Bruce Arians and Antonio Brown. So now we're at a crossroads. Who are we going to believe? Are we going to believe Antonio Brown or are we going to believe Bruce Arians? Now let's look at the facts. Bruce Arians has been very vague. He's been very evasive and does not want to say what was said between them. And the first thing that they'll do is say, oh, well, he needs some help and allude to the whole mental health thing and the brain injury, CTE issue that could be there. And so they're going to use that to discredit him. So now that when we're in this position where it's either you believe what he said or what he said, well, he's got mental health issues. You can't believe him. You believe me because I'm a sane, level-minded coach. And I have an upstanding reputation, but he's had issues on all these different teams, and then he's got head problems. So why believe him? So now that's where we are because this man is telling you that he's injured and this painkiller's worn off and he does not feel like he can go out there and do anything for the team, but you're trying to force him because you're down by 14 points. And then I had somebody today to tell me that he left them in a desperate position. If they were in such a desperate position, they won the game. They utilized what they had, and those guys stepped up and they won the game without having AB in the game. So let's not over exaggerate how much they need him because we've been hearing all season how yeah he's getting older and he could be a liability. They might be trying to get rid of him. When you got all of those types of rumors floating around, a player does not feel comfortable where he is. He does not feel stable where he is. So yeah, the story is rolling out, and like I said, I was gonna hold back my judgment until the story come out. But if in fact they tried to make that man go in the game and knowing that he was injured, I'm standing with AB. That's exactly what I said, and I'm reinforcing my stance right now. I stand with AB. This man been sacrificing his body for the entertainment of people for years, and y'all been seeing this man get smashed and trashed and getting targeted by DBs for years. And let's act like DBs don't target people, and let's not act like Sean Payton of the New England, not the New England Patriots, but the New Orleans Chargers, not the new dang the New Orleans Saints. I mean, and that's my daughter's team. But let's act like Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints wasn't paying guys to target. We went through that scandal. We went through our scandals with Mr. Brady with the ball flatness. So let's not act like these guys have the greatest character of all times because Mr. Brady, we could definitely talk about that. But that's not what this is about. This is about Antonio Brown. And so none of those guys can talk about his character when we've seen these guys at their worst as well. And they were given grace and they were given a pass. So Antonio Brown is standing up for himself. And I hope that the real people who really care about the well-being of these athletes and not just being entertained by these athletes who have sacrificed so much to give us all of this excitement and entertainment, I hope that you can differentiate the two and really separate the man from the athlete and the entertainer and really care about the man and stand by this man if he says that he's not going to sacrifice his body like that. So, people say, oh, well, he's rich and he's crying and whining. He should get out there and do whatever because they gave him a chance and an opportunity. Man, there's only so much gratitude that you can show. There's such thing as being loyal to a fault. And there's some things that you should not be willing to compromise for a dollar amount. So for all of you people who are thinking about dollar amounts and thinking about incentives and contracts, I've told many people with many comments, there's some things that are more important than money, like the dignity of a man, like the being able to call yourself a man because you know that you stand for something. And you're not just a someone who's being used up until you can't be used no more and tossed to the wayside. Talk to a lot of those retired NFL players. Talk to a lot of those wide receivers. And I seen what's his name? The guys that have this show, Ocho Cinco and those guys, forgive me if I forgot the name of the show, but they have a really awesome podcast where they talk a lot of football and sports and stuff. And they were saying that when you hit a certain age as a receiver, it's not that your numbers are going down because you're not catching passes and stuff like that. It's because you're getting to that age where they're about to send you out into the pasture to graze and they're not throwing the ball to you no more. And then they'll use that saying that your productivity has went down when in actuality their throws and attempts going to you have went down. and that'll be an excuse to get rid of you. So these receivers understand this. This is something that Antonio Brown understands, and he's starting to recognize these things happen to him. And so when a person is going through that type of stress and playing in an unstable environment, what do you expect them to do? How do you expect them to react? You call Cam Newton crazy. Anybody who's playing under the pressure of being cut is not going to be able to give you their best. That's just period point blank. And they have to understand that the turnaround on football players and contracts has become so fast now. It used to be that they would give you an opportunity to prove yourself at least a season. They don't even give you that anymore. They give you preseason, a few preseason games, and then they're done. They're looking for something else. So the pressure is really, really intense because they want instant productivity, they want instant performance. And so as long as they stay upon those guidelines, man, they're going to continue to ruin good players who just need some slow development, man, and some OG quarterbacks who's willing to put the time in with them instead of trying to fight for that position and hold on to a little bit of glory. But that's all I had to say, man. I stand with AB. If in fact that's what happened, I stand behind him. He definitely need to take care of himself, regardless of what the coach want, because he's caught up in the moment. Because you're down by 14. It's your boy D Mac, man. I'm gonna leave it on that. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I go, it's 11:12 right now. So in probably about an hour, we're going to be going into January 6th. And, I guarantee you at some point they're going to mess around and make that a holiday because they always take tragedies and turn them into a holiday. So be looking for that to come sometime soon upon legislation and bills and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. This is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I'll say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.